Hello, everyone. There we go. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Abnormal Investigations. Now that I got your attention, um, I want to thank Lori C for that donation and Jason B for that gift. God bless you guys. Thank you for that very much. We appreciate that. Guys, we got a pretty good show for you tonight. I think it's going to be an interesting show. We're going to talk about some vampires tonight. And is there evidence to support the existence of vampires? And this one's going to have a lot to do with the chat tonight and what your all's opinions are based on the evidence that I'm going to present to you. I've done some digging, done some looking, and we're just going to see, does the evidence support it? So I'm going to go ahead and bring Jesse on real quick before I bring the other two on.
Hello.
And there you go.
How is everyone?
I'm just peachy.
Excellent.
So before I brought the other two people on, I want to remind everybody the 21st, we have a special show coming out.
Oh yes, the special show. The truth show, the reveal show. Mm-hmm.
AI Seeking the Truth, guys.
Yes.
Hey, OCST. We're going to be putting on a show, guys. It's not going to be a vulgar show, a nasty show, a filthy show. It's just going to be a show showing proof of what's going on. It's sick. It is totally sick, some of the things. And I want you all to see that. Randy will throw the link in to AI Seeking the Truth. You will need to be subscribed to participate in that, as it will be a subscribers only video. So just so you know, if you're going to want to comment or be part of that chat, you will need to be subscribed. I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I may even do that whole show as you may have to be subscribed for one day. So you may not be able just to come in, subscribe, 5 minutes later, interact. So you might want to get over and get, subscribed if you're going to want to interact. What was your Oh,
I just wanted to share too that it's going to be extra special because we got lots of new information today too to go along with that stuff. So it's going to be even extra special.
Guys, this one will go viral. I have no doubt. This will go viral. And that's the whole goal, is to push this viral. I want it to go viral. I want it hashtagged to everybody in the community. I do got to say something, though, before I bring the other two on, because they have nothing to do with this, and that's why I'm not bringing them on. Just out of respect. Joe Doyle from Hellbent Holler, I am calling you out right now. You said that I attacked over a fundraiser that you all done. Now, I know you're a lying SOB, but not everybody knows that. But they're going to, because I'm calling you out. You're saying that I attacked you over that. I never once attacked you over that. Not one time. You guys attacked me when you put it out, and I didn't fall for your little trick that you tried to do, because I don't care if you're helping people. I think it's a great cause. I was not going to attack something that I agree with. But whenever you all turned around and started saying that I attacked you over it when I didn't attack you over it, kind of like the 1,000 Facebook accounts I had, and I was Randy Petticourt from the first, and I think we all know that ain't true, unless I'm able to astral project in the physical form in another place and talk to myself. But I'm not really into the astral projection. I'll leave that to you guys and your little witch girlfriend or whatever she is. But what I will say to you is come out and show me where I did that. Show me. I want to see the proof. I'm calling you out on it because I never once attacked you for that. You, sir, are a liar, just like the demon you follow. I guess Josh Turner's rubbed off on a lot of his allies because it seems like they don't know the difference between the truth and a lie. All right. With that being said, guys, I'm going to bring on, unless you got something to say before I bring them on.
I was just going to say, yeah, that is true. But, again, God is good because there are many, many people that are finally waking up and seeing that. So we just got to keep pushing the truth out there and letting people know.
And many people have come forward. That's an amazing thing. And I guarantee, I'm not saying no names, but if I was two individuals, I would be sick as hell right now. Sick. Like nerve medication, sick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But we can't talk about that because that's got to go somewhere else. So, anything you want to say before we bring on the other two?
No. That's
all right. I'm going to bring Tyler on real quick, and then we'll bring Randy on since we haven't met. Well, let's bring Randy on. I'm just going to throw him in here. Hello, Mr. Petticourt.
Hi, guys. Can you hear me?
Yep.
I can hear you. You're 5x5.
Good to see everybody. Welcome to Abnormal Investigations. Welcome to another episode of Fright Night with Mike. We hope you enjoy this episode. We hope you don't get too scared or have nightmares tonight.
And another one we're going to bring on, guys. Please, everybody, welcome for the first time. He's going to be sitting in tonight on the show is Tyler 420. I'm sure most of you know him. Welcome, Tyler, to the show.
Hi, everyone.
Hello. Welcome.
What's going on, man?
Just glad to be here.
Me too at this point.
Yeah. Hey, Mike, before you continue, I have some questions about your last boots on the ground.
Uh-oh.
There was a point where you had to pull out your weapon for defense, and the video went blank. It blacked out. Whatever something screamed at you, and perhaps was running at you, but I couldn't see anything because the video cut out. Did you happen to see anything?
You're talking about in the tall grass. I'm assuming back when I was by the tall grass by the tree line, right?
Right before you left. Did you have to pull out your defense weapon to actually see that? Did something get that close that made you feel like you were in harm's way? But like I said, the video cut out, so I couldn't see the whole thing. So I was just trying to touch base with you. Did you happen to see whatever it was that screamed at you?
Well, I'm not at liberty to discuss what I pulled out, but I will say that I was in fear for my life and great bodily harm at that time.
I'm talking about, what did you see? I'm not talking about your defense, whatever. I'm talking about, what did you see the creature that actually caused that situation? Can you describe what happened?
What happened is the first time I'd really investigated the tall grass because I really didn't expect anything to be in the grass. Most of the communication I've had with Jesse I was pretty convinced that it was going to be in the trees. That was what I thought. So whenever we started the live, I had decided there's a little prairie right there that runs over to a wood line that then runs back, and you can circle back and then go across the main road and then drop into the woods, which is what I did. And whenever we went through the prairie, I noticed even on the first track through there was what sounded like something crawling in the grass. I kind of chalked it up to at first a rabbit or an armadillo, something like that. And as I continued to move toward the wood line, I heard a faint whistle. And I knew that rabbits and armadillos usually don't whistle. So I knew then that we was dealing with something that was probably not normal. It would be abnormal. So as I got further to the tree line, and we went into the trees and everything, and we started getting the hoops and everything. I thought, honestly, what I thought initially was when we went into the trees, if y'all will notice, the trees were relatively quiet. Really, there wasn't a lot of action in the trees. But whenever we came back across that meadow, when we went to the other tree line, that is when I started over by the cemetery area. If you remember that, there's an old cemetery. They said it was just beyond that gate right there. I won't go to cemeteries and investigate. I'm not telling people that they shouldn't. Just a personal preference for me. I won't do it because I feel like it's disrespectful. Even though that cemetery is relocated, I know that there was people that was accidentally left in places because of the hurry. So I don't do that. To me, that's hallowed ground. So we was very close to it. So when we was going around it, I started hearing something in front of me in the taller grass, and it kind of got my attention. It was kind of in the front of me and to the right. It got my attention. I was guessing it was probably about 50 yards, something like that. And then as I started like honing in on what was in front of me, listening to it, I then hear something to the left of me, which probably about the same distance, just estimating about 50 yards. And at that point, I heard something behind me. And that's whenever I had the come to the realization moment that I was circled. Whenever I was circled, I decided to push through the one in front of me because I felt like if I would have backtracked, it wouldn't have made no sense to backtrack into the middle of them and not be making progress. So as I pushed forward, there was some taller grass than what I was in already. And as I did that, I saw eyes shine in the grass looking at me. I could see the eyes like kind of doing this. They were kind of bobbing, kind of like weaving like that, watching me through the grass. And I stopped because it's not my intentions to have to hurt something, if that makes sense. I don't want to have to use force. I'm there to investigate and to try to get evidence, not necessarily to engage something. That's the last thing I want to do. So I will run and leave an area before I will engage. The only time I'm going to engage is if I feel like I don't have any other option.
So basically, you paused and halted your forward movement, giving this whatever it is a chance to get out of the way. Am I understanding that correctly?
Yes, yeah, because I feel like that whenever we look at these, if we give them the chance to escape, they will take that option. I think that if we corner them, then and I'm not calling them an animal, I'm saying any human or animal or anything that is cornered that doesn't see another option but to use force to leave is going to use force because they know that we're capable of defending ourselves by what's on us. If it's by recognition of it, the smell of the oil on it or the powder, they know that it's there. But I noticed as I started moving a little bit forward, it started pushing forward toward me. And at first I was like, okay, they've done this before, so I'll back up. And at the moment you're talking about is where it really smashed the grass. I will do as what John Wayne said in True Grit. I filled my hand, and whenever it started coming toward me, I peeled my hand and it did stop immediately. But it let out a big whoosh, like that. And that's the part that I think you all missed. And it started shaking the grass violently at me.
Where I come back to the video is I see you got your hand out like this and the grass is moving in front of you, but I had no idea what took place in that short period of time that was missing in the video. You talk about your missing minute. I'd like to see that video. If
Well,
anybody got the video for that minute,
nope.
did it cut out for somebody else?
It cut out for everybody, and that was the scary thing, because if you notice out throughout the entire video, it would, I don't know if anybody else had that issue too, but because I watch on my special device and the computer, both of the devices were actually timing out at the same time. Because yes, I ghost mod with a secret account so that nobody can block me like people have been doing. But regardless, I had two devices going and they were both timing out and buffering at the same time. So I knew that if the two devices were doing it at the same time, it had to have been happening to everybody.
What is the odds that at the exact moment your camera would have had to possibly catch a picture of whatever this was, it just cuts out? And this has happened more than once on your videos, on your boots on the ground. There's one particular time on not this one, but the time before, I actually see a head starting to move in the frame, and then the video just went dead. And then when it cuts back, there's nothing there. It's like these things can control or manipulate electronic equipment at will.
Absolutely.
So I mean, I'm just going by what I've observed watching your videos. On your boots on the ground, it seems like just before something comes in the frame, something weird. There'll be like some red or blue light flickering on the screen, or there'll be a solid blue or a solid red. And yesterday, boots on the ground, it looked like there was a laser striking the camera that was forming some kind of diamond pattern on the screen. It was weird looking. I don't know if anybody else saw that, but there was like a red light hitting the lens and making some kind of weird pattern in the frame of the video. And it was like there was something that it was blocking whatever. Something was able to block whatever video camera. They're able to manipulate the electronics somehow to prevent themselves from being picked up. Is anybody else, or is it just you think it's just you just lost signal at that crucial moment? I mean, I'm not trying to be conspiracy here, but looking at the data.
I know exactly what you're saying, because mostly what I saw when the camera went dead was large, heavy breathing. Sound like a horse that had ran a mile. I saw the two eyes. The two eyes became higher into the grass. It never cleared the grass. The grass right there in that area was probably 6 foot, something like that.
Could you tell the distance between the eyeballs of the creature? Was it a small or large creature, or could you tell?
No, it was probably the distance between the eyes was probably 5 inches, something like that.
Okay.
And then, it was pretty wide set, but they were forward facing like a predator. They weren't on the sides of the head. And the reason I say that is because when it looked at me, I looked right into its eyes. And what I saw that really bothered me probably the most was I didn't see the full head. It was violently shaking the grass at me like it had just grabbed 2 handfuls of grass and was just shaking it. But I saw fur, and the fur that I saw was probably 3 foot off the ground, and it almost looked blonde. It was almost a blonde reddish color.
So maybe a blonde Bigfoot?
I think it could have been it's hard to tell because we had a lot of Bigfoot traits down there, the rock throwing, the whoops, But then we also had a lot of things that people would say would be a dog man. I mean, we had the howls and we had the growling.
And yesterday, it sounded like a mountain lion roaring. I mean, remember you said you could feel it beating through your chest? Mountain lions. I've been around mountain lions when they roar, and that's an actual effect. That's how they stun their victims. They can let out a roar and use like a sonic shock wave to stun their prey. Now, this isn't proven, but it's a theory I have.
Right. Well, you know, when it done that, the first thing that ran through my mind is whenever you do go out and you cryptid hunt and stuff like that, you know that cryptids are not the only danger in the woods. In fact, they're probably not as high of a chance that you're going to encounter a cryptid as you will an armadillo or a raccoon or a possum. Last night, whenever I heard that growl, I was pretty sure at that moment that it was either going to be a werewolf or it was going to be a cat, a large cat. And both, you know, are deadly. Both of them will attack you, maul you, you know, unalive you. The one thing, though, that was weird to me, if it was a mountain lion, by me having the lights on and by it having a huge open field to a tree line to be able to retreat, and it didn't retreat, it was holding its ground. And even after I walked away from it, I started doubting that it was a cat at that time, because a cat, they're going to run and they're going to escape if they can. This thing, escaping was not on its mind. Whenever I would walk toward it, it was letting me know almost every time, stop. You know, it was stopping me with that growl, I thought at one point that there was a possibility that I may have to deafen a few people on here. It did cross my mind. I was definitely ready if needed to be done. But I want to talk about the red light a little bit too, and then you and Tyler and Jesse can hit me with some more questions. But this is kind of important to me because of a reason. The red light that I received, a lot of people did comment on it, and I spoke to an individual today that is very, very familiar with tools that you might want to put a laser on. Okay. So we were having that discussion, is that a possibility? And he is a professional. He served the same branch that you did. And he was a sniper. And he said, no, that is not what that was. And the reason he says that is because whenever we get the glare from it, he said he went back and looked at the video and he can actually see a red light in the distance. It looks like eye shine, and then the camera goes red.
Wow.
Yeah, okay. He said there is no laser trail, is what he calls it. He said there's no laser trail. And he said, especially with me being inside of the woods like that, with the pollen, the dust, and everything, there would be a laser trail. Yeah. He said, now it's not going to be like defined real bright, but if you're using a camera and you're being hit by the light, you're going to see the laser trail. He said there was no laser. He said there was no laser trail. And then he was talking about the mist, the mist that's happening. And he said, we both know in 85 degrees, you're not going to get, condensation from your mouth, right? Mm-hmm. So he said something was heating the air or cooling the air to cause it to do that. And he said it would be an extreme temperature difference. It wouldn't be like 5-10 degrees. He said, I'm talking extreme either way. And then he said, we have to look at the blue light also. And he's like, you're not just dealing with the red light, you're dealing with the blue light. And then, like what you said, he noticed. He said, you have the triangle. And he said, a laser is not going to produce a triangle, especially at a long distance, that's going to be so condensed. He said, red lasers are very good at staying condensed at long ranges. That's why they like to use them. But even they distort and open up. And for that to have stayed that condensed to be on a little bitty phone, that triangle, he said, it's nothing that we have. He said, nothing that he knows of. He said, unless you got predator out there, he said, that's shining his triangle on you. So that was kind of his thoughts.
We know from stories that those predator creatures, as one lady in her backyard in a tree stand saw one of those walk right under her. Anybody heard that story? So perhaps there was a predator there too. Oh God, can you imagine? That'd scare the crap out of me seeing one of those.
Well, I have no doubt that there was a predator in the woods the other night.
Yeah, there was a predator. We don't know exactly what type.
See, I'm agreeing with Tim here. I don't think it was a laser either.
What did it look like to you, Tyler? What would you have said?
See, thinking definitely some type of cryptid in my opinion. I was thinking maybe if they could use some type of like infrasound. I don't know if that would make sense or not, but
well,
definitely was not a laser.
We don't really know what type of supernatural abilities that these creatures have. If they are descendants, if they are the children of the fallen angels, well, we know do we know all the abilities of the fallen angels? No, we don't. Nor do we know the abilities of these creatures. At least that's my opinion based on my observations and the data that I've looked at.
Let me present this to you guys as a talking point and get all of your all's opinions on this. I tend to agree with you guys too. I don't believe that it was a laser, and the reason I don't believe that is because the conversation I had with Jesse is because the laser would have been able to read my chat and would have been able to tell Amanda good night.
Wouldn't have.
Right.
Yeah.
Would have. It would have been reading, because if we think about it, we got a laser that's right up on me, presumably. Then we have heavy breathing that sounds close. We have the sniffing that's close. And just a feeling of something was really close to me. It almost makes me wonder. We know that demons are narcissists. They love to be talked about. They love the attention to be about them, right? So is it coming to the point when we visit these places or we frequent them so often that the cryptids actually believe that they're being part of the show? That they get up there and they want to watch and see what are people saying about us? Are people surprised at what we can do? Are we scaring them? Do they think we're great? Do they give us that worship? I'll throw that out to you.
That's a really good question, actually.
Well, and like I was saying to you, I mean, for anyone that watches like Steve Ishtal's show, there's been several times where they've come to the conclusion that they actually will come out into the woods and follow him and know that he's going out there to read stories about them. And they have seen them in the background and throwing rocks and stuff. So they enjoy the attention. They know. And I honestly believe, Mike, that they know that you're going to be going out there and what you're going to be doing, and they're ready for it.
Well,
yeah,
you got to also think about these spirits. How do they travel? They don't travel like you and I do.
Right.
Nope.
They can travel at the speed of thought. Like, they can think of a place that they're able to go there. They can think it, and they're instantly there at the speed of thought. Supernatural beings, in my opinion, have the ability. It's like teleportation at will, say. They can translocate their position anywhere in any dimension that they can think of. And they can instantly travel to that point. So
right.
They can be with you at your house or outside your house as you're talking on your show, driving there, and they can be getting ready for whatever. I would agree that's a possibility.
And Jason B, I think it was, said, the bells, right? What are the bells? I mean, when I hear the bells, it almost pisses me off because I start wondering, is this the same creature that was mocking my granny when she was sick? And is he doing that because he knows that I know what that sound was?
Oh,
And
wow.
that really makes me want to put a round through the woods.
See, I didn't know about that.
Yeah, whenever she was sick at night, she had a bell that she would ring for somebody to come and help her. One particular night, I was staying with my mom, and the bell kept happening, but Granny was asleep. And we later found out that whatever was outside was mimicking the bell sound to watch my mom walk past the window, and it was sitting in the tree watching her.
Now that's creepy, Mike.
Yeah. And I'm only about 2 miles as a crow flies from my granny's location.
Have you had anything recently happening there supernatural? Or has it been quiet?
After she passed away and my mom stopped going down there to take care of her, it's dead quiet there.
That's good.
Yeah. So, was it, a lot of people said, was it attached to your granny? And I don't think so. I think it was attached to my mom because she had the run in at I don't know, a young age, and it followed her. And even till this, until this day, it still does. So if it would have been my granny, I think it would have left my mom alone, and it still wouldn't bother her in the woods to this day. So I think that it was hyper fixated on her. Would be my guess.
Emmy says they know that the bells are your weakness, and I was kind of thinking that too. Like maybe they know that the bells bother you, and remember that too, and that's why they're doing it, to get a reaction from you. Because again, we know these things like to irritate people and scare people and anger them. So maybe they know that they're going to get a reaction from you, so that's why they do it too and mimic, just from
Yeah,
past events and knowing.
yeah. Maybe they could pick up on like stress or something.
I think that they feed off of that, off of fear and negativity, depression. Because I know I was down there one night, and all of a sudden, man, I just got like super depressed. I think I even mentioned it on the camera. It was like I didn't really want to be there doing it. I was just like, man, I don't even really want to be doing this. It was just like I got really depressed, and it was just like real heavy. Like I don't know, it's hard to explain, but it was like a sense of just I don't want to be doing this.
Didn't you get a high reading on your radiation meter at that time?
Yeah. Whenever I got to the car, my crustable was cooked in my pocket. No, not really, but yeah, I did get a pretty high reading.
I wonder if that's related. There's like a supernatural occurrence. Are we seeing like the temperature change from like the energy being drained from the area? Could that cause the temperature when energy is transferred from like the air to something? Could that cause the temperature to rise or fall of the air around you? I wonder.
I would think that there would have to be some kind of a disturbance, magnetic or something like that. And we know that magnets can produce heat. Magnets can produce energy too. So yeah, I think that would be real possible. And I seen in chat that somebody has said, that they hyperfixate on women. I do believe that. And I was talking the other night, I've been talking to a friend and trying to get somebody to go out with me, and not really just to carry equipment, because I have a lot of different ways I would like to approach areas. Like one way I would like to approach an area, for instance, would be if you had enough people would be able to set up a camp, if you will, and set up your IR cameras and stuff and let them come to you for once. Kind of like when you're fishing or you're camping, and you have these encounters, most of your encounters are not because people were out looking for them. It was by chance. It came to their campsite, or we were taking our boat out of the lake, and it was at the boat ramp, or it seems like it always came to them. And you can't really do that with one person, set up a bunch of IR cameras and everything, because you're going to be blind. And, you really don't want something growling at you like the other night, not being able to see it, running into your camp, and you've got night blindness, and you end up shooting a hole in the radiator of your truck. I know a guy that got scared, and he told me the story himself, and he would have never went out with me again, but he got scared so bad one night that he actually fired his AK through the tailgate of his buddy's truck. It went into the interior of the truck, blew the radio out, and went out the windshield. And whenever he done that, it scared the hell out of everybody else, and you had a whole bunch of people just emptying their magazines into the darkness, yelling because they were scared.
Oh, no.
So it just takes one bullet to set everybody off.
Kind of like in the movie Predator, right? That one guy shooting and all the other guys, they don't ask questions. They just follow, start blasting.
Oh, yeah. And then you have to think about, what happens whenever everybody empties their magazines, and then here they come, right?
Right.
Because you got to remember, if you shoot one of these things and don't kill it, you're going to piss it off. Whether it's a Bigfoot, whatever. These things can rip you to shreds. Whether it be a big or any of that believe, they're all stronger than you. You don't want to piss them off if you don't, if you can avoid it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm sure.
I've had people ask me, they'll say, like, I'll go out with you, Mike. I'll go out with you. I've had there's been 3 people. Believe it or not, there's more females willing to go to the woods than there are men. I'm not even going to speculate why on that, because I'll get in trouble. But they're willing to go out there and put their lives in danger. And the first question I ask them right out of my mouth: are you familiar with guns? And do you know weapon safety? And they're like, no, but my daddy had a gun. Well, yeah, that's good, but I don't want to go out there and this thing come rushing me, and then you spine shoot me and leave me half paralyzed, and you take off running. I mean, I really don't want to be a head on a stick for a monster. You know what I mean?
Yeah. How are you going to vet anybody until you just take them out there and see how they can handle it or they don't? It's a trial by fire.
I have one.
Come along.
You never know how somebody's going to react. I think a lot of people think that they will be stronger than what they normally would be if they have an encounter, because everybody's like, oh, I wouldn't be that scared. I'd be okay. I can handle myself. But, can you? Because I know that just working as an officer, not, in the woods, I've had guys come in there, man, there's big guys, military, big guys, muscled up. Now, they weren't combat, but they were military, and we'd have something happen and somebody get cut really bad, or a big fight or something, and they would freeze, man. They would not move. They would freeze. And then you would have the littlest guy out there. I'm talking like the skinniest, littlest dude. And he's like kicking butt, taking names, yelling for an extra pair of cuffs because he's already put all his on somebody. So, I mean, you never know, how somebody's going to react. But you're right, though, Randy. The time to find out is not in the field whenever life and death matters. That's not when you want to find out how somebody's going to react.
Let me just tell everybody this. Until you see one of these things close and see how powerful and strong they are, and then you imagine with what those muscles and claws and teeth they could do to you, you don't know what you're fucking with. You really don't. You might, Mike. I'm sure you've seen these creatures, but the average people who, they're skeptical, they don't believe in this shit, you go out there looking for these creatures, and I assure you, you're going to find them. And the odds are, the problem is, are you going to survive these encounter? Are you going to die on this encounter? Because these creatures are super smart, and you go shooting at them. Well, they usually have friends, and
Oh yeah.
if you're by yourself, the odds are you're not going to kill all of them before one of them. All they have to do is hit you or bite you once, and you're done. One claw, one paw from a Bigfoot, a werewolf, and you're done.
Right.
I don't care what weapon you have. If they hit you, they can take your head off with one little swipe
Oh
or one little
yeah.
bite.
It's going to be a bad night.
Yeah. So before you go into the woods, you better be sure that you can handle seeing monsters, because monsters really do exist, regardless of what they
Right.
taught you in public schools, in college, in the church. Yeah, the monsters were wiped out, but Satan figured out how to bring them back, because I've seen the werewolves up close. You don't know what you're fucking with. You really don't,
Oh,
guys. Just warning you, don't
yeah.
do
I mean,
anything Michael did. Anything you see Mike do, just don't do it, because you could die. He could have died that night, and that video would have never came back on. Let's just say if something would have happened, we wouldn't have known anything. We would have probably got information from missing 401 David Pilati, because I'm sure he would take up your case if something happened to you on a live show. That would help the ratings, but it wouldn't help your son get home.
yeah.
You need to survive every episode, Mike. You can't go missing on any of these.
Yeah.
You gotta
Getting 8 would really suck. It would suck. All right, guys, we're going to try to move on to the vampire stuff. I could talk about this all night. Tyler, any questions, buddy?
Oh no, not really at the moment.
He's like, why do you do that?
And Tyler, it's nice to meet you. It really is. It's nice to hear a voice with a name, Tyler.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here.
I don't think Amanda made it tonight. I think she skipped out on us.
Oh, she
Well,
actually sent me a text, I think, like 10 minutes ago saying that you didn't send her the link. So she's just going to call it her night.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
my
I wouldn't
fault.
be able to put... Well, I wouldn't be able to probably to get everybody on here either. 5.
No?
I don't know if I can... I don't know. I've never done that. I mean, we could try. I'm always up for anything.
Have you sent her the link?
You can try it, yeah. Send her the link. All right, y'all ready to talk about some vampires?
What about vampires?
I'm assuming that's why everybody's here. So I done a little bit of looking on it, and just kind of as a beginning thing is, a vampire is considered to be a mythical creature that sub-exists by feeding on vital essence of the living. In European folklore, vampires are undead humanoid creatures that often visited loved ones, caused mischief and deaths in the neighborhoods, which they inhabited while they were alive. They wore shrouds and were often described as bloated and ruddy or dark continuance. They loved to prey on the weak. Vampires, which many of them exist, they say, a lot of them in Louisiana, for example, they have been recorded in cultures around the world, not just in one area, which makes them unique. Vampires are not just found in one area of the world. They have been reported all throughout the world, in every culture and every religion. I thought that was pretty interesting. The 18th century mass hysteria of a pre-existing folk belief in southeastern and eastern Europe that in some cases resulted in corpses being staked and people being accused of vampirism. It was a common practice sometimes that whenever somebody would pass away, or somebody would think that, somebody was a vampire back then, if they had died, they would stake them, sometimes burn them, or bury them and put a cage over them. They would also sometimes even put weights on their limbs inside of the casket to hold them down. They would put religious coins in there with them, like St. Michael, St. Peter, things like that they believed would hold them to the casket. But one of the bad things was even people that were alive that were found that they thought to be a vampire, they were staked alive in the middle of the town kind of like a hanging would have been, or burned alive at the stake in the middle of town, where they were sometimes, and most of the time, tied up in the morning before sunrise. They had to stay in the hot sun all day, staked in the middle of town, and then as the sun set, they would burn them alive. So,
That ought to do it.
could you imagine just being staked just in the heat all day with nothing to drink and knowing
And this,
what's going to happen?
how many of them actually were actually alive when they were burnt?
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
A lot of them probably died from the sun baking or shock.
Right.
I watched one of our viewers' videos today, and they had a bird riding on top of a remote control car. I thought that was pretty cool. I just had to bring that up. Okay, while there's no scientific proof of supernatural vampires, there are individuals who identify as real vampires and claim to have a medical condition that requires them to drink blood or feed on energy. These people exist in communities and have been studied by researchers, but their beliefs and practices are not supported by mainstream science, except science cannot explain how some individuals can consume so much blood and not become sick. They're able to handle it. So, that is kind of interesting. I don't know if you could build up an immunity to it. You think?
My question would be, are these people that had a craving for blood and would consume it, or are these, and they then later figure that or think that they're vampires, or where does that come from? I guess my biggest question is.
They actually said that a lot of those, as children, would crave the blood when they were born. They would crave the blood. And then some of the people said that they would go through the ceremonies like we had talked about before, and they would start craving the blood after the ceremony, which some people believe that during the ceremony that they would become possessed.
Right.
Amanda here in chat.
There's Amanda.
Oh shit. Oh, sorry, I'm feeling good.
Glad that you're here,
couldn't-
Amanda.
Yeah.
I couldn't see her. It flew by. My chat's moving so fast.
She said
Has
she's
anybody seen
not feeling good.
Mel Gibson's interview about the terrifying encounter with a demonic Hollywood celebrity? Has anybody watched that interview? I do believe Mel Gibson had a run-in with a vampire.
Yeah, that interview, if you haven't seen it, that's a really good interview. Talks about how the guy floats across the top of the building and how when he looks up, he sees the mark of the beast, and it's pretty interesting.
It's like a 3-minute video in YouTube. Check it out. I'll link it. That's like a 3-minute video of that interview. If you want to know about vampires, they do exist. According to Mel Gibson. Or is he full of it too?
Because Randy is a vampire.
No, I am not.
Hey, that's how rumors start.
Well, it's probably that candle I sent him because I put a whole lot of love into it.
Return to But I thought it had Jesse's address on it, so it may not come to you, Mike. The candle that you sent to me.
Hey, as long as I don't get ate alive by something, I'm pretty good.
Well, I tell you what, there's also a couple investigators that came up being shredded in New Orleans. I wonder what tore them up. Coyotes and small dogs?
Yeah. 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 It seems like dogs and cats always pay the price. So there was this guy I was looking at, and there was a small town called Exeter in Rhode Island, right? There's this guy, his name is George. Well, it was George Brown's family seemed to be suffering from a curse. In the second half of the 19th century, his wife, Mary, and his daughters, Mary, Olive, and Mercy, all died from tuberculosis. By 1892, his son, Edwin, who was formerly a big, husky young man, also seemed near death, so the locals decided to take action. They suspected that it was not tuberculosis, then called it consumption that haunted the Brown family, but something much more sinister. Locals began to fear that one of Brown's women was undead and feasting on the living tissue and the blood of Edwin. So they convinced George to let them exhume and examine the bodies of Mary and Mary Olive and Mercy on March 17th, 1892. A group of men marched into Chestnut Hill Cemetery with shovels and started to exhume the bodies. Tuberculosis was not well known or well understood at the time of Mercy Brown's death, and little could be done to cure those who suffered from it. In Mary and Mary Olive's caskets, the townspeople found only bones. But Mercy, who had died just 2 months earlier, still looked very human. There was blood in her veins and a flush, red, rosy cheeks. The body was in fairly well-preserved state. A correspondent from the Providence Journal later reported, according to the Smithsonian Magazine, the heart and liver were removed, and in cutting open the heart, clotted and decomposed blood was found after they had removed it from her. They said it was as if the heart and the blood were still alive 2 months after being in the grave. Pretty interesting. Though the local doctor insisted this was perfectly normal, given the short amount of time since Mercy's death, approximately 60 days underground in a hot grave, the townspeople took it as a sure sign that she had to be a vampire. They burned her heart and liver in the middle of town, mixed the ashes with water, and had Edwin drink the concoction. They forcefully made Edwin drink it. Unsurprisingly, this didn't do much. Edwin died a few months later. Makes you wonder, did he die from tuberculosis or did he die from just straight PTSD of what they done to him?
Yeah. I don't even know what to say to that.
I mean, if somebody was to dig up a corpse that's been in the ground for 60 days, and I cut the liver and heart out, and I made like a drink out of it and said, "Here, Tyler, drink this. It'll make you feel better."
Poisoned him? Yeah.
I wonder if that could have poisoned him.
Well, did the guy survive the potion? It doesn't look like.
Makes me
I don't
wonder.
know. I think that it would make me sick. I mean, I wouldn't have drank it. They'd have had to fight me. There's no way I would have drank it. Amanda, I think Jesse sent you a link, I believe. Didn't you, Jesse? Amanda has a link, right? If she feels like it.
Come on, Amanda.
Let's see. Then it's, if there's one thing people know about vampires, is that they do drink blood. So Richard Chase, a blood-obsessed serial killer who murdered at least 6 people in the 1970s, certainly qualifies as a real-life vampire. Known as the Dracula Killer, Chase displayed sociopathic tendencies from a young age. He set small fires and was cruel toward animals. As he grew older, he also began to suffer from delusions. that his heart had stopped and that he was walking corpse. Chase developed an obsession for pigs, and blood was institutionalized after attempting to inject himself with rabbit blood. He also later claimed to own a ranch that was not his. The last part's really not true, but I added that. It kind of seemed like it was going down that road. Uh, though he was briefly held in a psychiatric facility, well, where fellow patients allegedly observed Chase drinking blood of birds that he caught and killed. Chase was released in 1976. Shortly thereafter, he turned his attention to humans. A jury found Richard Chase was sane, and they sentenced him to death. However, he died by suicide in prison. On December 29, 1977, Chase killed his first known victim, Ambrose Griffin. In Sacramento, California, Chase shot Griffin as he helped his wife unload groceries from their car. Less than a month later, on January 23, 1978, he shot Teresa Wallen after entering her home through an unlocked door. He then stabbed her and drank her blood, allegedly in the front room, while watching cartoons out of a yogurt cup. Four days later, huh?
I was going to say, just because they drink blood, that doesn't necessarily make them a vampire. So do we have any more information about this particular individual?
I'm thinking this guy might have had a screw loose because they said, 4 days later, Chase killed 4 people at once after entering another home through an unlocked door. Evelyn Murreth, her 6-year-old son Jason, and her 22-month-old nephew David, I think it's Ferreira, and her friend Daniel Meredith. History reports that Chase removed Meredith's organs, filled them with blood, and took them home with him. Though the police were able to track Chase down quickly, they found even more horrors at his apartment. Human blood was everywhere, in his sink, on his utensils, even in his blender, and around his mouth. It appeared that his real-life vampire had been drinking blood for quite some time. He was found guilty of first-degree murder and sent to prison, where he died by suicide on December 26, 1980.
Sounds like psychosis to me.
Yeah. that guy, but then you have to ask yourself, is there a possession or an attachment causing people to do this?
Well, how did he die? How did he die in prison? Did they say like how he died?
No, just suicide.
Oh, just suicide. Like, okay.
Yeah. Hello, Amanda. I think he, I don't know, a lot of them do that whenever they're placed in, a place like that. They can't cope.
Well, a couple of references from Hollywood with mentions of vampires. Let's look at 1987, the movie The Lost Boys. At the end of it, the grandfather, who acts like you don't even know that this guy knows anything about the supernatural, and here he comes to save the day at the end of the movie. One of the things that he hated about the area he lived in that part of California was all the damn vampires.
Yep.
Another
I'll never forget that. Never forget that movie.
The X-Files, Season 2, Episode 7, Bad Blood. These are people pretending to be vampires, but if they are caught in the sun, they literally catch fire and burn.
I also believe. Oh, sorry, Randy. What were you gonna say?
Sorry about that.
I was gonna say. I also believe that how vampires supposedly bite in the neck. I think that's also Hollywood as well. But that's just my opinion.
Yeah, I think that they would. I think they would go for probably any way that they could get blood. I don't think it would have had to been the neck either.
The true vampires, the real ones, the real vampires, not the pretend ones. You need to watch the movie Interview with the Vampire. If you've seen that movie, vampires are not friendly. They're evil, and they kill because they have to drink the blood. They have to drink the human blood. Now, who else stalks and kills humans and eats them? A little rhyme as a child: fee, fi, fo, thum. I smell the blood of an Englishman. That was like to teach. Those little rhymes that we were taught were warnings. They were like, some of that stuff was passed along, and then the memory was changed. But when you think about it, giants are evil. It seems like everything, all these creatures tend to prey on mankind, whether it be women, men, or children. There's something about these creatures. They feed, or they get some nourishment from killing humans. There's like an MO here. Vampires do that. There's all kinds of Nephilim stories of people being killed by different Nephilim beings. That seems to be something that they have in common. They don't like humans, or they enjoy killing and eating us. At least that's my opinion based on the data.
And also, that would also be a slap in God's face, because, he tells us not to consume blood. So that would be another way that they could blaspheme him, is by actually eating us and partaking in our blood, God's creation.
Most definitely.
I think we lost Jessie. I hope a vampire didn't get her.
Well, I was going to see what he thought about it.
She'll be back. She'll return.
Well, when I was a kid back in 1977 through 74 through about 1974 through about 1978. I've seen things down there in New Orleans that I really don't want to discuss. But yeah, there's vampires. They do exist.
Did you ever have one try to hurt you or attack you or anything? Or
I got lost during Mardi Gras, and I had a girl take me back home, and her feet didn't touch the ground the entire time. And when I touched her hand was cold to the touch.
Wow. I've heard that there's a lot of evil goes on there.
There is. The voodoo, well, we don't want to talk about that here.
Right.
My father, he's deceased, but he was in military police, and he was a detective down there in New Orleans in 1975 through 78, 74 through 78. And he encountered a lot of bad stuff, dealing with people, young people being unalived and used for ceremonial purposes.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Big time. And then if you studied any of the black magic or the voodoo, and it pretty much pertains to that, which we can't talk about. It's just horrible.
Right.
How many people come up missing on a daily basis? I go to my local store, and there's a wall, and there's just pictures of missing children. And I have never seen any of these missing kids ever be found. Since I was a little child, I can remember seeing kids' pictures on the carton of milk that we were drinking on the cafeteria. And there were reward shops. But I don't ever remember ever seeing or hearing any of these children coming up missing, ever being found. And people wondered what happened to them.
Randy.
The rocket scientists to put 2 and 2 together.
Did you have something, Tyler?
Oh, no, I was saying that Andy is right, because I don't see any of them ever getting found either, unfortunately.
And friend from the convenience, I wanted to say hello to you. I didn't say hello to you from the beginning, so hello. I missed a lot of people, I think. So it says, our modern day conception of vampires was largely sculpted by Bram Stoker's 1897 novel Dracula. Dracula, of course, is about a fearsome vampire who hunts human victims and drinks their blood. And Stoker drew some inspiration from a real vampire, the violent Wallachian ruler Vlad Dracula. Born between 1428 and 1431, Vlad spent the first part of his life as a hostage with his younger brother, I think it's Radu, in the Ottoman Empire. There he was, possibly tortured, and may have witnessed the implement of the Ottomans' foes, a technique he would later infamously use on his own enemies. So, oh, come on. After Vlad's father and older brother were overthrown in a coup, Vlad went home to Wallachia. He was able to wrest and power back from his father's enemies, but Vlad never forgot what they had done to his family. Before long, he set out to establish dominance in the most violent, unimaginable way. Vlad hosted a banquet and invited those who had opposed him. He never intended to listen to their concerns. However, those who continued to resist him were rounded up and bloodily impaled on spikes, and thus Vlad Dracula became known as Vlad the Impaler. From there, Vlad the Impaler's bloody reputation only grew. In 1462, letter to an ally describing his campaigns against the Ottoman Empire. Vlad boasted of killing peasants, men and women, old and young. He said, "We killed 23,884 Turks." By the time he was imprisoned by the Hungarians, Vlad had killed an estimated 80,000 people, tens of thousands of whom were impaled. Vlad had also shown fondness for human blood, as evidenced by claims that he dipped his bread in blood before he ate it. Though this particular assertion was never verified, many said they witnessed him doing it. Vlad's vicious deeds have been, and a supposedly inspired Stoker prepared to write his iconic vampire novel. Vlad also would take captured enemies, bring them to his table, have them chained to their chairs, while he would sit at the table and devour their friends right in front of him on the table, offering them a plate. Wow. I don't even know what to say, really. I mean, dude got some bad issues. I mean,
Okay, let's talk about him dipping his bread in blood. I've heard stories and accounts of eyewitnesses through that period claiming that he did that. And if you study blood rituals, there's power in the blood. He's getting power from killing them and consuming their blood. He's getting their energy or power from them. Just like there's power in the blood of Jesus Christ, they get some kind of power when they unalive somebody and do what this guy did, according to studies.
good grief. Did Amanda ever get that link? I sent it to her. I'm hoping it went through. Is she still in the chat? Jesse sent it to. She should have it.
Oh, Trucker got knocked off. He said he had to come back. I wonder if that's what happened to Jess.
They're saying it. They're saying Jess lost power and her power won't be on until 9 a.m. in the morning.
Oh. Well, that sucks.
Yeah. And Amanda should have a link if she wants to jump on. She was asking for a link, so she should have a link. Let me try to see if I can get it.
So Tucker, or Tyler, I'm sorry. My bad. Have you had any experiences with supernatural things? I don't really know much about if you've said anything about any of your encounters. If you've had any.
Oh, sorry, I was muted. I didn't realize I was muted. I believe I could have had a UFO encounter back in 2017.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I had one of those in 9, I had a black triangle fly right over my head. Treetop level, very slow. If you've seen the X-Files season 1, episode 2, Mulder holds up a picture of a black triangle. That is exactly what I saw fly over me.
See, what I saw in the sky was pretty similar, except I don't think it was black. It was a triangle, but it was like flashing lights, and it was basically going up and down, and it would go right to the left, and then right to the so it kept repeating itself. It was weird,
Cool.
and then the plane, and then like it was doing that for like a good 10-15 minutes because I was out there for this was on my back porch. This was probably I don't know 9:30, maybe 10 o'clock at night, and it would just go up and down, left to right, and then a plane was coming. I think it was on the right side, and I thought it was going to collide. That's how close it got. It was just weird, and I know it wasn't a plane or a satellite. I think it could have been something extraterrestrial, in my opinion.
Like, I don't know who was flying it, but I did have some weird things happen during that encounter. Hi, Amanda. Welcome to the show.
Uh-oh, we lose her again. I got booted too.
That's weird.
I put her back on. Hopefully, can you hear us, Amanda?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got some weird stuff going on. I'm not sure what's going on.
I know. I was just like, what is happening? We lost Jess, then we lost Mike for a minute.
Yeah, Jesse just
Well,
sent me a message and said, I don't know what's going on. I just hear something at my window. It keeps saying bloody bones. No, not really. She's fine.
Oh my gosh.
It's the vampire
I was like,
disappearing.
they found her.
maybe the powers that be don't like us talking about this particular topic.
Good possibility.
Probably.
So
Hi,
they
guys.
say in the
Nanny,
it's
I
good to
think
see you.
Good to see you guys too. I feel better now.
I'm glad.
somebody's mic is getting some feedback, AI Nanny, and I'm not for sure whose it is.
I just noticed it.
I think it could have been mine.
Yeah, I think it might be Tyler's.
I'm like, I hear something. I actually have earphones in this time because I know I've been having the feedback.
Yeah, yours sounds
Well,
real clear.
Okay,
welcome to the
cool.
show, Amanda.
Thanks, Randy. And
Welcome
hi, Tyler.
to-
I'm so happy to be here with you.
Welcome to the Vampire
Glad
Club.
to be here too.
I love the Vampire Club.
So, in the early 18th century, Arnold Pale had a bad luck of falling off of a hay wagon and breaking his neck. Then, after he was buried, he had even worse luck when people in his Serbian village became convinced that he was also a vampire. He was actually, I believe, buried alive. And this was in National Geographic, guys. As National Geographic reports, the modern vampire myth arguably began with the story of Paol's exhumation, which spread across Europe. And I don't know why let's see if this will work. And the subject of interest of philosophers like Voltaire, Denis Diderot, and Jean-Jacques Rousseau, filled with
What?
bloody, gory details. It triggered superstition about vampires that endures to the modern day. In some ways, Pale's story bears a remarkable resemblance to Mercy Brown's. After he died, dozens of other people in his village also died, which made the living suspicious that Pale was undead and that he was attacking them and consuming their blood. Austrian authorities sent a military doctor named Johannes Fluckinger to investigate the claims. He watched the village, dug up Paley's body 40 days after his death, and penned a shocking report to his superiors in 1732 describing what he saw. He said, I found fresh blood, and it flowed from his eyes, nose, mouth, and ears. That the shirt, the covering, and the coffin were completely bloody. That the old nails on his hands and feet, along with the skin, had fallen off. and that new ones had grown in. Fluckinger wrote, even more shockingly, that the corpse groaned and bled profusely when the villagers drove a stake through his heart. They saw from this that he was a real vampire. And after that, the killings in the town stopped. So how do you explain that?
Vampires are
You
real.
don't. Vampires are real.
I mean, I don't know. We're going to have to get Amanda a work visa so she can come down here and help me in the field.
There we
Okay,
go.
Mike.
There we go.
Is it really that hard to not? I mean, if werewolves and Bigfoot are real, wouldn't everything else that we were told don't exist? Like
I
vampires
was
and drought and other
I was
creatures
thinking
of.
that exact same thing.
I know werewolves exist. I've seen them more than once. I don't know about
I,
Bigfoot, but I've heard enough stories about people seeing Bigfoot that I believe those other people are seeing something out there. What it is, it's not human.
you
If it
know,
was
out of
human,
all,
sorry.
like what you're saying, out of all the stories we hear, the folklore, the bedtime stories, I think there's a little truth to all of it because, I mean, where did it come from, right?
Dang it, Mike, you stole what I was gonna say.
Sorry.
That's okay. That's what I was just
Point
about to
there.
say though. I think that everything has to come from something that somebody's seen sometime, right?
Well, yeah, I
Correct.
mean, it's kind of like, whenever you have somebody that comes up and they're like, hey, man, I was out there, I want to use this for an example. I was in the cornfield, and while I was out in the cornfield, I was,
Just as bad.
plowing, and something
Oh,
jumped up, grabbed me, and pulled me off the tractor, and it was a dog on its hind legs. But this thing was built like a weightlifter, and its eyes, they were on fire, and its teeth, but for some reason, it let me live. But my buddy, that was a little larger than me and a little slower than me, he never left the cornfield. So the story gets passed on to town. You know, maybe they weren't actually plowing the cornfield. Maybe they were stealing corn and his buddy got caught out there and ate. I mean, I'm sure there's not all truth to it, but I believe that there is truth to most of those stories.
me
Why
too.
would they waste the time to? Because ink was not cheap back then. Paper wasn't cheap. It wasn't like it was today. They're not going to waste time and money on nonsense to record it.
That's
Like, look
true,
at those
Randy.
maps, some of those ancient maps dating back hundreds of years showing monsters on the sea and even on the land. They're not going
Yep.
to waste money that ink cost back then for stuff that didn't exist. They wouldn't
Right.
waste. They wouldn't spend the money on something that didn't exist. Why would they draw a picture of, say, a sea dragon somewhere on the Pacific Ocean if it wasn't really there? They wouldn't waste ink on nonsense.
Another thing, too. Go ahead, Tyler, if you want to say something.
Oh, I was gonna say, yeah, Randy. It's kind of like the carvings in the caves too.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
Well, here's something for you that I just learned looking at some other cases that I found out. For instance, let's take a look at the chupacabra. Right,
Yeah.
the chupacabra was first pretty much talked about and encountered in the 1990s and happened in Puerto Rico. But if you look at the descriptions that were given of the chupacabra, when it was first seen and first reported in Puerto Rico around 1990, it was described as a bipedal creature that resembled a reptilian creature that had spikes down its back and walked, slightly hunched over. But then as that moved up into like New Mexico and other places, uh, farmers were finding like dogs and coyotes that were dead from the mange, and all of a sudden they start saying, this is the chupacabra. So now you went from an original encounter described what the creature looked like to this guy over here saying, well, we found a chupacabra out here, and all of a sudden this news organization or this podcaster, it's never been boots on the ground in his life, he's just looking for material. He goes out and he says, well, it's really part dog, guys. That's what it is. It's like a dog, and it's got a hunched back. And then people start seeing the real chupacabra, and they're like, okay, that's a lizard, man. That can't be a chupacabra, because a chupacabra looks like a dog. So then we get all this misidentification going through the cryptic world, and before you know it, nobody even knows what they're talking about, because the first sighting of it in 1990 in Puerto Rico, it was a bipedal reptilian-looking creature, and now it's morphed into this dog with the mange, which is frustrating. It's frustrating that, and some stories, I believe, I don't, you can't prove it, but I believe that some stories, like grandma walked out on the back porch and she saw this werewolf looking at her right through the porch, and she runs inside. But because it wasn't scary enough, they have to add on, grandma walked out onto the porch and there was the werewolf, and he had his hand inside of the window, and he had this huge curled up hand, and it whispered her name. Everybody wants to add on, and before you know it, we're investigating things that aren't even what the person even witnessed.
What?
Right.
Yeah, why?
I mean, I don't know if
You're leaking?
I don't know if they're
I'll check my son's in the bath right now. Okay.
I think they could be something like along the lines of what did we witness, and how much can we take from eyewitness reports. It goes back to whenever I was an investigator. If you're not on the scene, you haven't examined the scene, then you have to go 50% of what the person tells you. It's not that you're calling everybody a liar. I mean, you're not calling them a liar, but time and time again, it has been proven that people that have witnessed a act of violence, whenever they give a report, they will all have a different report as to what happened. And then you go watch the camera footage that actually, videoed that actual encounter, and it's totally different from every report that everybody turned in. So, that's why I think it's so important that you are boots on the ground, followed by a good investigational, having good investigational skills with an open mind, not trying to lead something into what you want it to be. I think we have to, but unfortunately, I don't think that happens, and I think that's sad, and it's a shame, but I don't think that happens.
True. Sorry, guys, if you guys just heard me. My neighbor from downstairs came and knocked on my door because he said water's leaking into his bathroom from our bathroom.
Uh-oh. That's
and
not
I'm
good.
like, yeah, and my son's in the bathtub right now. I'm like, what the heck is he doing in there?
Uh-oh. It might be
Yeah,
the drain might be leaking too between the walls or
yeah.
between
I mean,
floors.
he's fine. He's just taking a bath, but like the neighbor just came pounding on my door, and I was like, what the heck? It scared the crap out of me. I was just like, who? Because nobody visits me. Nobody comes to my house ever. And I'm like, why is somebody pounding on my door? The vampires are here.
I have to say a vampire.
Yeah, the vampires are here, but they don't knock, I don't think.
Unless you invite them in, they do knock until you
I
invite
did
them in.
invite him in. He tried to come in too, and because he wanted to go check the bathroom, I'm like, my son's in there, get out.
Well, from the standpoint of the vampires, what I found, there was 7 investigators from 7 different countries worked together to work on the existence of vampires. Out of the 7 investigators, and I'm talking they exhumed bodies, they done DNA research, they looked at the teeth, they blood test everything. 6 out of the 7 said that it was very plausible that they do exist. What's your all thoughts?
Really?
I think that they probably mostly exist because somebody's seen something for it to even become a tale.
There's plenty of folklore and stories that date back centuries. So,
True.
Right. And, just
There are other ways
the
to
reason
come.
why they talk about this stuff in movies, books, etc., is because they would, where would get the idea of a werewolf, for example, if they didn't know what it was. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, I
right.
think that
Did you?
that image has to come from somewhere.
Right. And whether it's a one little sighting or a story and it morphs into something else, I mean, there's plenty of encounters or accounts of these things. So, yeah, it's got to come from somewhere.
Right.
And the fact that
And
they were able to find, evidence, researching.
Right.
My
I
question
agree.
would be where they're coming from.
It could all be part of that corrupted DNA, the spider web. You could take it a whole different way, and you could say, I wonder if their blood would be unknown. You know where I'm going with that.
Their DNA,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
not human.
Right. So, Randy, to get back to what you was wanting to talk about earlier, and Amanda or anybody else, I know y'all have some questions. Randy has some more questions about the boots on the ground that we just done or some of the previous ones. That's pretty much all I had on the vampire stuff. So if you have any questions, we can talk about that.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, if you have any questions for Mike or anybody here, just type your question and who it's to in all caps so we can better see your question.
I was
Do you
surprised.
even? Oh, sorry. Do you even
Oh, no.
read our messages from you, Mike? When we're out there, when all of us are, you're out there and we're watching you, and we're like, Mike, get out of there! Come on, Mike, go, go, go!
Very, very rarely, and that's a good question.
You need to look up more. You need to look up and read your text more or your chat.
A lot of times, whenever I'm out there, I'm hyper focused on my surroundings and
Yeah,
where
that's
I'm
true.
where I'm walking, what's around me. Am I walking into what I would call a unalive zone or a pinch point? I try to stay out of those areas. A lot
kill
of times, exactly, and a lot of time, what I tell people is just because the camera's looking at something, because I know a lot of people think that I'm looking where the camera's at, because they'll say, Mike, how did you not see that in your camera? Well, that's easy. I'm not looking through my camera a lot of the times. I'm showing you guys around, and my head is doing this the whole time because I've got a light on my head I can turn on. And the reason I do that is because if I stare into the phone and I look away, then I'm night blinded, and I don't like that. I mean, I got enough lights on me the way it is, but I do try to glance at it, and I do try to catch, some of the conversations and what's going on. But when it gets like something going on, some calls or I'm being followed or something like that, then no, I'm not going to be probably looking at the chat.
Are you
That's
getting?
true. You gotta watch your surroundings.
Oh yeah.
Are you getting by those critters like you did the last time?
Did I get hit? Did I get hit by them?
Surrounded by them.
Yeah, they've been making it a point to surround me.
You know
I
why
don't
they're doing that? You know what? My opinion is they're doing that to show you that you're not in charge out there. They are.
Right.
Just
Yeah, I mean,
visiting their home.
yeah, whenever you get circled like that, that's a sense of you kind of feel helpless for a moment. You
Yeah,
feel
that's
like,
terrifying, I bet.
oh yeah, it's like they're the wolf
I
and you're the rabbit.
I think they're
I
letting
still want
you
to go
know.
though.
They're letting you know who's in charge out there, and it's definitely not the humans. When you enter the woods, you're entering their playground or their home. And I'm sure there's rules and regulations that they have to follow to whether they can kill a human or not kill. I don't have a copy of that rule book, but that would be interesting to know.
Oh
What
yeah, you
allows
know,
this? Is there a
I
rule? Is there a line that if you cross it, you die from these things?
well,
It's like,
I had no doubt the other night when it growled at me that that was not a playful growl or just a warning. That was a, how far do you want to take this?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah, I believe that
it,
too.
yeah, it wasn't leaving. It was letting me know I'm not leaving. I know y'all heard the growl over the phone, but to hear that growl in person and to be out there by yourself in the middle of the woods, that was eye opening. It was. I'm not going to lie and say it wasn't scary. Yeah, my adrenaline was pumping. I was ready to defend myself. I didn't want to. That's not what I want to do. But I absolutely will. And Randy,
Of
I forgot to
course.
mention this earlier. There was a chat made, guys, that really bothered me, and I don't know how many people seen it. But there was a person that made the comment, I wouldn't mind being hiding in the woods with a laser on my tool whenever you get back to your vehicle. So that was running through my mind also as I was traversing the woods and stuff.
I didn't even see that.
I
Yeah,
didn't either.
I have a screenshot of it.
That's
I believe it,
terrifying.
Mike. I just didn't
Oh yeah,
see it on that.
They were probably
yeah.
just being trolls. They
Well,
didn't know where you were.
I don't know
I
that they're
mean,
just trolls because they have followed me and they have left actual trolls at the locations I've been at, and I have
oh,
been physically followed to locations, and I now know who one of those individuals is. I can't say anything about it right now because it's all been turned in, but
yeah.
it happened, and they do
Ew.
follow me. They put nails out. I'll just tell you all what happened without getting myself in too much trouble. You'll get what I'm saying by YouTube.
Yeah.
One of the places I've been going to recently had a unalived raccoon down there. The unalived raccoon was dressed in a children's Batman costume, setting where I had been parking my vehicle the last few times I'd been investigating. And there was about
Oh
5 pounds of
gosh.
nails poured across the road. Luckily, I didn't go to
Oh
that area
wow.
and park. Yeah, I parked in a different area. Luckily, because I hadn't been. So, what kind of
You've been parking in that
individual?
area?
Oh, yeah, exact same spot.
Oh my gosh.
So, what kind of an individual takes an animal, dresses it in a kid's Batman costume, and sets it up right where I've been going? To me, I took that as a
A
threat.
psycho. A psychopath.
I agree, man.
I think the data speaks for itself. I would agree with you, Mike.
Yeah,
Y'all
that's
remember what
scary.
happened to me? Y'all remember what happened to me? Remember on one of those when I had Sarah with me? Remember what I walked up
I
on?
don't.
I wouldn't let her go up there. One of the places I
What?
had been investigating, there was someone's dog that was
No.
sacrificed on the bridge. Very, very grotesque.
Ew.
So these people that are following me definitely have some bad mental issues. I mean,
Yeah, they're
I couldn't
sick.
I couldn't do that to somebody's dog.
I couldn't do that to anything ever.
I mean, that was just terrible.
Ugh.
Do
Yeah,
that
they're
to a dog.
definitely, people that harm animals are serial killers. That's where they start out. They start out hurting animals and then they turn into serial killers.
Yeah,
So that's scary.
they've got me on my toes. I'll say that, because when you start making comments about me going back to my vehicle, and some of their wording was, if I need to pop off a few rounds, I want to be able to do that from a distance, is what they said. So yeah, I mean, I'm out there walking around with a bright light on my head, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm at all kinds of disadvantages for a cryptid or a person. Um,
That's true.
so yeah, I mean, every time I go out, I'm not just, I don't feel like I'm just risking myself of getting hurt by an animal. I'll even say an animal. I won't say a cryptid every time, because in the woods we have, snakes and bears and lions and tigers and bears and all that. But when you add the human aspect into it, and people talking about popping off rounds and headed to your vehicle, and they're sacrificing animals at locations you're going to, and they're dressing them up in
Yeah, that's
children's Halloween costumes, and they're pouring nails out. And y'all know my tires got slit right here in my driveway. I had to buy new tires. I mean,
tires are
how?
expensive.
Oh yeah, I mean, how far will they go?
Yeah, that's scary. It's actually terrifying.
It keeps me wondering. Sometimes
You need
you
someone to
wonder,
go with you.
and that runs into another problem, because you have to be able to trust that person. Because if you take, old John Bob down the street, then old John Bob decides, hey man, I think I want to do this too, and then he starts telling everybody where you're going. The next thing you know, you got everybody
Oh
down
yeah.
there, and
Yeah.
your investigational area is going to be gone.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. You're right.
They're just, but the good thing is God has blessed me this week, and I have phenomenal good news. Like, this is the kind of news that puts people in places they don't want to be. It is not undeniable. It's them, no doubt. And thank God these people came forward. And I say people as in plural.
Mhm.
And I thank God there was something that I wanted, and I've wanted, and I've wanted, and I've wanted. Jesse has helped me search for it. We could not find it. And by the power of God today, it was given to us. Somebody had kept it
Yay!
and gave it to us.
Yep.
So
Yes. Very, very good news.
how
Jess, your
far will
cat is
God
so
go
cute.
to stop them? Dana, I believe that's an excellent question. And what I believe as a Christian is there's a special place waiting for them.
Yeah.
I believe so too.
Do evil things, get evil rewards.
Yep. And I'm not going to go far into that, because I don't want to drag you and Randy into that, because you all are innocent to this, and I don't want you all to be brought into that. So, whenever I go
Tyler, you're
out,
chopped liver. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Tyler's a vampire. He said he could handle his own. But
I believe
I
that.
think what I'm going to do on this next outing, whenever I go out, is we're going to a new location for sure, and it's a pretty cool place. We're going to be dark into the woods. We're going to be definitely off the trails this time, and it's all been underwater for about, I don't know, 3-4 weeks. So should be pretty wild down in there. It's always been a hot spot, so
For
it should be.
Bigfoot or what? Or do we?
The last time I was down there, I had almost 99% a werewolf.
Oh no.
They love white-tailed deer. If you can get white-tailed deer, I assure you, they'll come and probably take the food from wherever you lay it. They love white-tailed deer. I
Right.
found rib bones, leg bones, hundreds of dead deer that's been eating, but I've never seen a head of a deer. Never
Right.
seen a head. Always just
They use
find the
that as their
ribs,
trophy.
bones. Are they like the
Maybe.
predators? They take trophies.
I
Yeah.
absolutely, yeah, I believe that because I mean,
Yep,
look at
I do too.
that little shed I found. I mean, it had my little toy gun in it, and it had all kinds of stuff in it. You know, from tools to toys to just odds and
They
ends. A
like
sock.
things too.
You know, yeah, they like that. I mean, they're probably they'd be like sitting there at night with Randy's sock going, Randy. You know,
My wife has had the blanket come up missing off the line,
I
and
believe it.
Oh no.
there's no way that it just blew off there, and we never have found it to this day.
They were cold,
Wow.
Randy. They were cold.
Well, there's reports of people's clothes, being missing, and then the wife thinking that she saw the husband, standing down by the creek or something, and then come to find out he's, sitting in the front room.
Yeah.
Oh no, that's scary. I too.
They're
My
wearing his
wife,
clothes.
my
Yeah,
wife was just reminding me. My special guest, my wife, is behind us tonight for her safety, because normally when I go talking about werewolves or anything like that, it gets pretty active out here. But what
right.
they'll do is come up to the house wherever my wife is sleeping at, and they'll tap on the wall wherever her head's at 3 times.
Not three
Always 3.
times.
On the ceiling if you want to
Yeah.
dance. Oh.
They want you to come
Wife's
outside
on
and
the
dance,
pipe.
Randy.
Ding ding. Oh.
Well, they've mimicked. One night they were mimicking our dog Jenny, like she was outside the front door, and my wife went to go to open the front door, and she turned around, and Jenny is right there in the house with her.
It
Jenny
gives a
was let.
whole. It
Jenny
gives
came up.
a whole new meaning to. You ever dance with the devil in the pale moonlight?
No, thank you.
I think I probably have a few times.
You probably have.
But
Tyler, you're so quiet.
Oh, I know.
It's okay. We love you still.
Well, he's got to warm up to this. Eventually, he'll probably get, comfortable.
Yeah, that's true.
that
I was kind of quiet
definitely
at first too.
definitely takes a while. Guys, that's pretty much
Yeah.
all I've got really for tonight, except for Sunday. We have Tennessee, Kentucky Bigfoot's going to be on the show. Looking really forward to talking to him. He's got some crazy encounters we're going to talk about and everything. So don't miss
I
the Sunday
bet.
night show. Do I have a boots on the ground before the 23rd? I think I do, right? One more? Is that right?
Um, if you're asking me, I don't know. I can't do anything right now.
I think. Let me look. Let me make sure. Let me see. 18th.
I just want to say that I love everyone in chat so much because you guys are awesome. And when I said that I feel like this is home, I meant it.
Aw.
We
And you
try to
guys
make
too,
it.
of course.
We try to make it comfortable here for sure. The
I
22nd,
love
Jess,
it
will be
here.
my boots on the ground the day before.
Okay.
So, yeah, the
Okay.
22nd. The 21st is going to be a great show. I would encourage everybody to show up to that. And Randy can put the link out if he would for AI Seeking the Truth. And Tyler, since you've been so quiet, my man, I'm going to let you have the first words out of here.
All right. I really enjoyed being here, and all I can really say right now, I don't really know what else to say.
Aw, we love
Hey,
you, Tyler.
yeah, we
We're
appreciate you
glad you
being
made
here
it. Yeah.
and the chat and everything you do in the chat and helping bring people over and supporting the channel and everything, man. It means a lot to me. It really does. And I appreciate that.
Yeah, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Tyler.
Of course, I'm glad.
I really appreciate that. I really do.
Good
Amanda?
night, bestie. Oh, sorry. Yes?
What would you like to say, you little California blonde?
I would like to say that I really want to do boots on the ground, and that's not going to ever stop. And also, I just want to say that I love you all so much, and everyone in the chat too. And I hope everyone has a great night and a great weekend this weekend.
Well, if I ever go missing, then you can be on the search party to come and look for me. But there's one
Okay.
there's one rule. You have to go alone.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well,
I remember my
no.
out front. He would do that to Sarah, and now Sarah won't go with him anymore.
Right?
Yeah, she said it's no fun. She said whenever they had that encounter, her and Kaylee, they quit me, guys. They walked out. They said, no, I can't do this no more.
Well, they
You
must have
see
been
what-
really scared then, because
These werewolves, see them up close, they're massive. Some of the larger ones, the 15 to 20 footers, not only are they massive, the ones that I've seen, they've got these long claws like 17 inches. It's like, what are you going to do with that in melee combat? You're going to try to fight that with your bare hands, a knife?
Right.
No.
Exactly.
yeah, no way
Yep.
you'd lose.
Oh
So
yeah.
just be. It's going to shock you when you see how powerful they are. And
The only thing
You just-
I think that you could kill him is if you shoot him in the eye. Good luck on that.
I was sure gonna give it a try last night or the other night if it would have tried anything.
Yeah.
well, there's stories. There's also stories of people shooting werewolves and they don't go down. And then there's
Yeah,
stories.
exactly. That's what I've heard.
There are other stories where there's getting shot and they do go down. So, like the military, I've had military where Marines get encountered werewolves, and they were
I
able
think
to
it
kill
all-
them. But
I think it all depends on the bullet. You know, you've been in the Marines. You know, it depends on the construction of the bullet. That's just as important as the caliber. You know, are you shooting a bullet that's designed to go deep, or are you shooting a bullet that's designed for personal defense that's going to mushroom out real fast? You know, you go hunting an elephant.
Michelle said-
Oh, I'm just gonna say you're hunting an elephant. You don't want a bullet that mushrooms out.
that's right.
true. Michelle said grenade launcher.
Yeah.
At least on the
There you
cruising
go.
round.
I would say that if you hit something properly with even a 22, it's going to do the job. A lot of people knock the 22, but the 22 it unalives more people a year than any other caliber.
But how many
just-
Bigfoot werewolves have been killed with the 22? Do we have any information on that?
Right. I think they're just like any other animal, even something large. Even if you don't unalive it right at that moment, just the sound of the tool and the pain is going to cause them to retreat. Hopefully, if you the bad thing is if you wound something and it's got a bad attitude and it decides it wants vengeance for what you've done, it may still
You're in
go
big
off
trouble.
somewhere. Yeah, I mean, it may go off somewhere and still, die. But is it going to have enough time between that time of doing what it wants to do to you?
Look
And
at
how
some
many
of the
other ones are out there waiting?
Oh yeah.
Look at some
Right.
of the stories that we've covered where people like that one guy not too long ago, his friend shot in the woods randomly, and he ended up getting unalived at the end. Perhaps he shot one of those creatures, made it mad, and they came
Right.
back and killed vengeance. You've got to be
Right.
careful. You don't want to just go shooting in the woods and piss these things off because
Yeah, I think it drug him off in his tent.
Right.
That's terrible.
and
Yeah.
how they're able to circle you like that, how they're able to move so quickly that you're not able to catch them on video, that would concern me being out there by myself.
Yeah, there's a lot
Yeah,
of
me too.
concerns. A lot of concerns for sure.
You're
I wish
definitely
I need
You're
a partner.
Yeah, you're definitely on the food chain in the woods. That's their territory. I've seen werewolves, 15 to 20-foot werewolves, moving like raptors in knee-high grass. They can move so fast, and they're crawling like you're doing push-ups, but they're crawling like that in like the push-up formation. They can get that low, and they can move so damn fast that they're hard to see. I
Right.
never thought that a 15-foot creature could conceal itself within a space of 9 to 12 inches, but they can. And I think you saw some of that on your last boot ground in the
They
tall
did.
grass.
Oh yeah, they love that tall grass. I mean, that was. I'm probably going to have to go back out into the tall grass. We're going to have to try that again one night and see what
You need
They
happens.
love
Yeah.
crawling through it.
Yeah.
You need a camera on your back to see what's going on behind you, because that's where the action's at.
Yes.
You need
I'm
a
gonna.
camera, and you already have permission, don't you?
Right. Yeah, I do. Yeah, I'm going to take. We'll have to take Amanda with me, and she can cover my back.
There we go.
That'll be
All
your
you
job.
got,
To always stay 10 yards behind me.
all you got to put her out there.
Thanks a lot, Mike.
I assure you, she will be attracting these creatures because they love women. We can see that from the boots on the ground when Sarah would go with you, and when they
Oh yeah.
weren't,
I'm
it
pushing
wasn't
you in the
with
way,
you.
Mike.
We got EVPs when Sarah wasn't with her. We would pick up EVPs of these creatures asking, "Where's Sarah?"
Well, they started calling her.
that's
They started
great.
calling her mama. They was calling her
Oh,
mama.
They just
yeah.
wanted a mom. That's sad.
Oh, and didn't we hear like a little kid the other night on my boots on the ground saying that its mama was looking for it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Sounded like it.
I heard that.
I mean,
Yes, that was
that was
sad.
crazy. I mean,
That was sad. I heard
oh
the
no,
most stuff I've ever heard
it ain't
because I
sad.
actually
Trust
used
me,
earphones.
it's a trap.
No,
Some of
I know,
those.
but it sounds sad though, you know.
There was one
Oh,
EVP where this thing sounded like it was whining or whimpering very loudly.
Yeah,
We could hear
yeah,
a
I heard that
loud
too.
like a dog for like almost, I don't know, 20, 30 seconds it went on.
Yeah, I remember that,
And
Randy. I heard that too.
evidently these things can whimper, and with their vocal cords they can make sounds that our ears can't hear,
oh
perhaps.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
crazy.
But the microphone on your phone on the camera was able to catch that voice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's crazy.
You couldn't hear it with your ears, but the
Right.
microphone on your phone picked it up. I'm wondering, are these things just right behind you looking over at your phone to see if Amanda's there, to see if the battery's down low? Are they getting that close to you?
I think that
Yeah, that's crazy.
I think the demons are. I don't think the flesh and blood ones are, but I think the demon ones are. I think they're right there.
That's scary.
Yeah, I
Because
think they're close.
in in my encounters with werewolves, I've encountered multiple times. I've walked up upon them, not carrying any phones, no electronics, no batteries, no nothing on me, and I've
Right.
walked up to my horse and caught them sleeping. The one thing I noticed, they would all wake up at the same time and look at me. It's like they were linked. There was like a greater consciousness controlling the werewolf. They would all look at me at the same time. They all moved together as one unit without communication.
You know, a
And
lot of
I've
people
noticed,
Crazy.
theorize that too. A lot of people believe that if they know you, then they know you worldwide.
I love
Well,
uh,
it's
you
just I don't
scared
know.
Jody's name. I just
Yeah.
love her
yeah,
name because I know that part from Amityville Horror. You know, you scared Jody.
Randy, walk us out of here, man. My back's killing me. I'm old.
Good night,
well,
everyone.
Good night,
ladies,
Amanda.
we
Bye.
want to thank each and every one of you for supporting the Abnormal Investigation channel. We thank you for tuning in tonight on this episode of Fright Night. We hope you enjoyed tonight. God bless you and God bless your families. And good night.
Thank you for being here. Too bad we had that disruption in there and everything went wonky. But everybody that stayed and stuck around, we appreciate you. We love you. Thank you for being here. Stay hydrated. God bless. See ya later.
I want to thank everybody. There's Tyler. There he is. Go ahead, Tyler.
Oh, just wanted to say good night, everyone. And again, I'm very glad to be on the show tonight, and definitely would like to come on a lot more.
We appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
We will work it out.
Good night, Tyler.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, man. Yeah, I want to thank everybody for supporting me, supporting my family through all these lies and everything that we've been through. Guys, there's a turning point coming, and I will say that now with complete, I just know now. And it's going to happen. It's going to be big. It's not going to happen fast because this all has to be put together because it is a big thing. I've had to do some emergency meetings, signing some papers, take some oaths, and turn some stuff in. But there's a turning point coming. And it's going to be bad for the people that done this. That's all I'm going to say. God is doing his work right now. And he continues to do it. And all glory to God that he's opened eyes to see and ears to hear. And they've brought it. And I'm going to be so thankful when that day comes. And it'll be soon, just not within days. So don't expect anything real fast. But it's coming. It's already happening. It's already here. The material's already here. It just has to be presented. With that being said, guys, love all you guys. Thank you for the support. We'll see you Sunday night with Tennessee, Kentucky Bigfoot. And until then, guys, God bless you guys. Keep your head on a swivel. Don't be something's dinner. And if something growls at you, probably go the other way. All right, guys. Good night.
Night.